Welcome back to the White Horse Works. My name is Peter Spoerer, and today we're going to radio control a live steam AccuCraft Victory locomotive. There's some other things you've got to get rid of, and that's these bumps on the inside here. They'll interfere with the servos. They hold these covers, water covers on, but we're going to have to grind them away with a small Dremel to make them flush. So let's get rid of these two little fellas with using the Dremel. So they're all ground down now flush. Now it's time to put the cover back on. This can cause a little problem, so just tuck it over the end and slowly place it back onto the engine. Perfect. Before screwing the top firmly down into place, you've got to feed the two little handrails into the small holes at the top. If any of the white insulation shows, just use a toothpick to push it back into place. And now turn it upside down on the padded tray, and then with the use of a crooked tweezer and your box spanner, we're going to replace the little body holding nuts and bolts. So they're all checked and tight. We just checked that all the gaps are correct on both sides, and now we've got to fit the covers back on. Just get our little screw things. There's the cover. We get our little crooked tweezer, very useful tools, and then just plug the screw into place. If we now look into our screw tray, all we should have is the lateral cross member, which we took away, the two orange bolts, which we took off the rear buffer beam, and all that needs to be done now is to replace the cab roof. And well, you know, we're ready to go outside, but I think I'll just do one last test. So we turn the transmitter on, turn the locomotive on, and there we have the regulator, and there's forwards and there's reverse. Everything working nicely. Just pop the dome back on, steaming the Victory in the garden. Here's the loco on the steaming bay, and we have the basic equipment that we require to steam a gas-fired locomotive in front of us. We've got the water, small pair of pliers, the lighter, the steaming oil to lubricate things, a screwdriver to open the little oiling chest, the transmitter of course, and the gas. So let's do it. So the first thing we're going to do is just remove the lid. Well, let's have a look inside here. So here's what's in the cab. This is the pressure gauge. This is the gas tap. This is the gas tap and tank filler valve. Here is the regulator. Here is the displacement lubricator. And in the bottom there, the forward and backwards lever. Right in the centre is the Bunsen burner. We've got to put two things into this locomotive now. The first thing we need to do is to put the gas in, and we're supposed to use butane gas. Even though it's a cold day, it's only 4 degrees, I'm not going to use a mixture. We place the container nozzle and press firmly onto the gas tank for filler valve. Be patient, keep going, until liquid gas, there it goes, flows from the escape valve. It's now full. The next thing we're going to deal with is the displacement lubricator. We take an ordinary screwdriver and unscrew the lid. They give us a little slot because it's rather difficult to get your fingers in there. If we look down inside the lubricator, you can see that the steam pipe passes through it and there's a little miniature hole. That lets steam come in here, condensate, go to the bottom, and then oil floats up on the top of it and down the little hole, and oil gets introduced into the system. There are many different ways of putting oil in. I like to use a syringe, and we slowly feed the oil in. Do it nice and gently. I'm shivering here because it's so cold. And fill up the entire container. This takes about 2.5 millilitres of oil. Almost to the top. There we go. And then replace the cap. Remember, force nothing. Everything is nice and gentle. You just have to nip it up. You don't have to do it tight. The last of the three things that's required is the water. And this one has a very easy system for filling the water. Just like with the oil in the lubrication, there are many different ways of putting water into a boiler. I'm using my little hand pump here. We keep filling until we get to see the water approaching the top. You can just make out the water there. It's about 4 or 5 millimeters from the top. If you think you've overfilled it, no problem, you just stick a syringe in and draw some off. Now we replace the inox valve. It's a very simple little cap. And it's through this, when under steam, we can actually introduce more water into the boiler. And of course, the cap goes on. Well, we're ready now to set fire to the locomotive. So let's do a quick radio check. First turn on the transmitter, then turn on the locomotive, and we can just check that both things are working. There's forwards and the reverser, and there's the regulator. It's good. So what we're going to do now is to set the regulator so that there's fully closed, so it's just open a little, and put the reverser into full reverse. You'll see the significance of this in a second. So let's open the door, turn on the gas, and there she blows. Up inside we're looking for a little blue flame. We don't want the flame to be coming into the smoke box. Now we've just got to be patient. We've just got to wait for the locomotive to warm up. After about 2 minutes we start to see some spits of steam coming from the chimney. Steam pressure is just showing on the gauge. Both safety valves are clear and working. And because we've left the throttle slightly open, the steam is going through the chambers and the pipes and the cylinders and warming them up. Slowly the locomotive will start creeping backwards, telling us it's ready to run. The oil at the chimney shows that the displacement oiler is working. Soon she should start creeping backwards, showing that she's ready to go. Aha. A good head of steam, we can turn the gas down a little. Slowly she creeps backwards as steam builds up.